5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So, would you be able to tell me about the incident?
I was on our daily walk. This one time I thought I saw a squirrel, so I ran like the wind. But when I got there was no squirrel. I went to head back, and the next thing I knew, I was being picked up by some stranger. A muzzle was put over my mouth, and I was put in a cage. After that, I was trained, injected, and abused. One day, I was put into this large box of sorts, and in front of me was this badger. I didn't want to let my masters down, and I was terrified of what they'd do to me. I charged at the badger, and I lunged forward. I held him in my jaw and locked on. I shook it about, and then it went limp between my teeth. After I realised what I'd done, I dropped it. I was ashamed of what I'd done. The crowd, they had to split us up. And then I saw the badger run away. A wave of relief washed over me. I'm not a killer. That's not what I am.
Did you not think about escaping too?
Well, yeah, of course. I thought about running, catching up with the badger. But then what would I even say? Oh yeah, sorry about the scars, but can I take along with you? A couple of days after the fight, some other humans in shiny clothes came in and put metal collars on my master's hand. Soon after, a human in a white coat, he come and grabbed me, and he put me in a white room. They give me an haircut, and they washed me and all. I felt like a new dog. Soon after that, I get to meet my owners again. I can't tell you how much I've missed them, and they were so happy to see me.
So you were home safe again, all of this behind you?
I could never forget that badger's face, the fear in their eyes. I wonder where they are now. I hope they're okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to tell them that. It's not who I am. It's really not. I'm so sorry. Wildlife matters.
So I was hoping you could start us off by telling us all a little bit about your home.
It was lovely. A nice family home. Lots of character, plenty of room, a real slice of paradise. We had been there for years, and life was perfect.
And so what changed?
It was a normal day. We were all sound asleep up in the rafters when it started. Loud machines. The people all shouting, and then our roof was ripped away. We were woken from our slumber and had to rush away, disorientated and tired. As we escaped, and I looked back, and within moments, the place we had called home for so long was nothing but rubble. I'm sorry. It's just, when I remember that day, it's just a lot. What was taken from us? It's all we had.
And so where are you living now?
Anywhere we can. It's just hard to find somewhere suitable for me and my family, and you just feel like such a failure when you can't provide for them and you can't provide them with a home. It's not just the fact they took our home, it's the distress it's caused us. We can't find anywhere to call home, and that's all we want.
If you could say anything to the humans, what would it be?
I just wish they'd consider those like me and my family, put themselves in our position. What if someone destroyed the one place you felt most at home with no thought at all? Wildlife matters.
It was a morning like any other. I heard some whispering coming from above. and I went up to investigate, and I saw an odd-looking wolf. I think they're called dogs. But that was the last thing I remember until I woke up.
And what happened when you woke up?
Then I saw the big people. They ripped out my teeth and my claws. I couldn't fight back. It made me so angry that someone could have the power over me. It's not fair.
It's okay. You don't have to carry on. This is a safe space.
No, I want to. I need to. After that, they put me in some kind of large box. In front of me was the dog that ripped me from my home. His name was Danny. I'll never forget his name. I'll never forget his face as he lunged himself at me. He scratched me on my back. He bit me on my side. I tried to do the same back, but my claws were taken from me. Danny went for me again, and his jaw locked around my neck. He shook me about, and the crowd grew louder.
That sounds awful. I'm so sorry.
Don't be. It's not your fault. You didn't rip me from my home and take away my dignity and my self-worth. As I lay in his jaw, I went limp. After moments of that, he dropped me down. I saw the crowd split. One of the big people came towards me and reached out, and I ran for it. It took everything I had, every fibre of my being. My wounds cut deeper, and I was determined not to let this be the end of me. I ran, and I ran, until the shouting turned to silence. Wildlife Matters.
Happy with this?
Yeah. Sound guy's good. Looks good there.
So, it was a hard day. Hadn't had much luck all morning, really. Basically, there was this falcon following me all day. He'd either chase away my prey or take it for himself. It was a race to every mouse, vole, and weasel that came our way, and let me tell you, I was not winning this race.
Did you manage to get anything?
Yes. I spied movement. I was so hungry at this point, I didn't think to check. I just dived down, and once I got there, I was so confused. It was an old pigeon tied down to a rock. Now, I don't usually go for other birds, especially something as big as a pigeon, but it was just there, and I was so hungry. In my hesitation, that pesky falcon had got in there and didn't waste any time. He muscled me out the way, and I think you get the picture.
That sounds horrid.
Oh, no. That's not what's horrid. What's horrid is what happened next. That falcon saved my life. Just neither of us realised at the time. I checked to see where that falcon had gotten to, and I see him next to the pigeon. It didn't look right. He was so still. Too still. There must have been something in that pigeon. He was dead. Who would? Why would anyone do that? I just don't understand. All life matters.
And what were you up to?
We're often up and about at night, and it's one of the safest times for us, so I'd left the family to scout ahead for, well, it could only have been 5 minutes before I heard
Heard what?
barking. Angry barking and shouting. I just ran back to my family. I didn't think, just ran. Before I got back, I had this noise, like thunder. They killed Jane, my wife. There were these monsters carrying metal weapons, and they had these dogs that seemed so angry. I got on my kids and we ran, not looking back, and there was a searing pain in my leg. I thought I was done for. I could see the fear in my boy's eyes, and I couldn't let him down. I just pushed through the pain, knowing I had to save my kids. I owed it to Jane to do that.
And how has life been since then?
Oh, you know, kids are okay. Growing up now and starting to move on. Me, well, whatever they put in my leg, it's changed me. I can barely walk, and no one wants to know about it. They look at me like I'm some sort of freak.
That must be very difficult for you.
The worst part is, I couldn't care less about the leg. I just missed Jane. If only I'd been there, maybe I could. Look, I'm sorry. I don't think I can do this.